Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Coming up on the program, Governor Sanwo-Olu swears in 8 new permanent secretaries, Swedish envoy partners Lagos on transport infrastructure, and Surulere farmers receive inputs. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has appointed 8 permanent secretaries across ministries and departments, asking them to raise the bar in service. The newly elected permanent secretaries joined the body of secretaries after taking their oath at the Lagos House Alausa in Ikeja. Take a look.
Lagos House Hall Alausa Ikeja is occupied by some civil servants who have given their best service to the state government. 8 of them have been selected as permanent secretaries and are here with family and friends for the swearing-in ceremony.
Welcome, Mr. Governor and Mr. Deputy Governor.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu makes his way in and exchanges pleasantries with the lucky ones.
Please sit down.
Permanent Secretary of the State Public Service Office says the process of appointment was fair and transparent.
As the 8 permanent secretaries will be sworn into office today, let me note that Mr. Governor's approval of the appointment of Mr. Adewoye Moshood Adewale as permanent secretary is valid and within the ambit of the law. His appointment as State Secretary General, however, is subject to the clearance and confirmation of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Section 126 of Section 1 of the National Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, is the relevant guideline in respect of appointment into the position of the Secretary General of the state. As such, until the clearance and confirmation by the honorable members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mr. Adewoye Moshood Adewale shall remain permanent secretary in the office of the State Auditor General. It is instructive to note that these 8 permanent secretaries have assumed office in their respective offices and working assiduously since appointment. The appointees and their offices are Mr. Adewoye Moshood Adewale, Office of the State Auditor General, Mr. Adebowale Adeoye Bashir, Education District 1, Estate Surveyor Mrs. Patola Ajayi Olayinka Linda, Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Dr. Mrs. Yusuf Sherifat Adejoke, Education District 6, Mr. Amuni Abayomi Mustafa, Education District 5, Mr. Obadino Akimbode, Local Government Service Commission, Mrs. Olusekun Bibilomo Olayide, Local Government Establishment and Training, and Mrs. Akombi Adenike Ganiat, Office of the Chief of Staff. The quality and standard of the selection process clearly underlines Mr. Governor's commitment to repositioning the state public service for quality service delivery. It is especially gratifying to note that the now instituted swearing and selection process for the appointment of permanent secretaries in the state public service is not only fair and transparent, but rigorous and at par with the best of its kind anywhere in the world. In this regard, I am proud to acknowledge that Mr. Governor takes full credit for this initiative. I'm also excited at this juncture to inform you, particularly health sector workers, that Mr. Governor is very impressed with the sterling performance of medical doctors in their last cleaning exercise, permanent secretaries, and has agreed in principle with the proposed reform in the health sector, which will further pave way for appointment of more medical doctors into the esteemed body of permanent secretaries.
Time to take the oath of office.
That I would not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal any matter to any person which shall be brought under my consideration or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duty.
One after the other, the governor signs their oath of allegiance full. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu asked them to be committed to their duties and ensure that the dividends of democracy gets to the people.
The 8 of you are joining this very powerful body of permanent secretary, and this brings the total number of permanent secretaries in the public service of Lagos to 59. This, in my view, will be the largest in the country, and it reflects how important the public service in Lagos is, how dynamic and how merit-driven it has been. And like has been said, the process that threw out all of you is a clearly transparent process in which you went through, on your own, a examination, interview, peer review process. You had a chat with me at some point, and you can see that it's a process that is working. And so we want to commend that indeed you've seen the benefit of ensuring that, at all times, the best in class is what we need to. Some of you, I've never met you before. So I don't have to. Your work is all you need to do to speak for you. And because if you are part of a process that is working, that is engaging, then you can indeed trust that process. And so today is not about you. It's about the people that are coming behind you. It's about the other directors and other staff of Lagos State. To be able to say to them that no matter what part, no matter where they are in our government, if you excel, if you do the right things, you will be acknowledged and you will be recognized. And so I want to commend, acknowledge, and congratulate each and every one of you. You know too well that what is expected of you is additional level of commitment, loyalty, and service to Lagos State and to the various offices in which you represent. I know too well, given your pedigree, that you will do nothing less than that. But it's important for us to reiterate and reassure you that all you need to do is continue to do that good that you are doing, which is what has brought you thus far. And so, for us as a government, is to continue to identify that we're in here for a while as public appointees. The real machinery of government are the public servants, the body of permanent secretaries, the various directors and deputy directors and assistant directors. You are the real engines of growth. And so for us, we understand and we appreciate that we need to continue to collaborate. Once the directions have been set, it's really for you to not only just key in, criticize it, ventilate it, and once you adopt it, you should be able to run with it. You should be able to, on your own, with minimal supervision, go and implement all of these programs and policies. Because at the end of the day, we're in service to ensure that the public that we have sworn to serve feels that dividends of service that we're rendering.
The newly sworn-in permanent secretaries are grateful for the opportunity to serve.
On behalf of all of us, the newly appointed permanent secretaries in the Lagos State Civil Service, would like to say a big thank you to God Almighty for being able to take this oath of office and attain the highest position in the Lagos State Civil Service. So we want to thank God first. And then by extension, sir, we want to appreciate you for the opportunity you have given to us to be permanent secretaries in your administration. It's not something to be taken for granted, for counting us worthy to serve with you. And we want to assure you, sir, we know that you are our Mr. Performer, you are Mr. Dynamic, energetic, Mr. Say and Do. We know what you have been doing, and we are assuring you, sir, that we are willing to work with you to ensure that your vision for Lagos State, our own greater Lagos, is achieved. We assure you of our complete loyalty and commitment to the implementation of your policies and programs in line with the team's agenda.
The permanent secretaries are Mr. Adewale, Office of the State Auditor General, Mr. Adebowale Bashir, Tutor General Education District 1, Mrs. Olayinka Patonola Ajayi, Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Mrs. Sharifa Yusuf, Tutor General Education District 6. Mr. Aminu Mustafa, Tutor General Education District 5. Mrs. Olaide Oluseku, Office of Local Government Establishments and Training. Mr. Obadino Akimbode, Local Government Service Commission. Mrs. Adenike Akombi, Office of the Chief of Staff. With the addition of 8 new permanent secretaries added to the cabinet, the Lagos State government now has 59 of them saddled with the responsibility of ensuring good governance for the people of Lagos.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says plans are underway towards improving transport infrastructure and facilities for residents. He made this comment when he received the ambassador of Sweden to Nigeria at Lagos House Marina.
Traffic management and transportation is top priority for Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's themes agenda, a step towards addressing the issues in the public transportation sector. The state government has over time rolled out Lagos Bus Rapid Transit for residents, in addition to the First Land Last Mile buses, as well as the Lagos Ride Cab, all geared towards a better means of commuting across the state. The latest of all is the arrival of the first set of electric buses that will help achieve a climate-friendly environment for Lagos. To support this drive, the ambassador of Sweden to Nigeria visits Governor Sanwo-Olu at the Lagos House Marina and expresses readiness to collaborate with Lagos and create a transportation network that is achievable.
From the Swedish side, we are very glad to cooperate with Lagos State in many ways. We have quite a few Swedish companies that are based here in Lagos, and they see a big potential for growth. And they are especially interested in areas like infrastructure, energy, ICT, food production, and a general theme, I would say, for all the Swedish company is sustainability. So I think that there are quite a lot of things we could do together. And then I would draw your attention to 2 projects that are ongoing with Lagos State. One is cooperation with the Swedish SWED fund. They're making a feasibility study, having contact with La Mata, and their study is to explore fuels for production. They're looking into different fuels for the public transport, and one possibility would be biofuels that they're looking into. And the purpose, of course, is to reduce emissions, create jobs, and have more diversity when it comes to transportation.
The governor says the state is committed to the existing bilateral partnerships with the Swedish government and welcomes more innovation for the transport sector.
Public transportation is one critical component of our own economic agenda as a government. And like you've observed, the sustainability in that sector is very, very critical. You know, how well are we relating that with clean energy, with, emission reduction, and ensuring that it's in a clean, safe, atmosphere that we're doing that. And I'm sure, if you don't, we're actually heavily engaged in all of the 3 major transportation, public transportation model, waterways transportation, bus transportation, and of course the rail transportation, where we've completed some lines and we're completing another one. So we're not unaware of the effects of all of this public mobility, in the environment, and how we can curate a sustainable, emission-free and a lot more, eco-friendly, environment. And so that's why Lagos State not too long ago signed also an MOU with a clean energy company of Ohando to test, electric cars, for public transportation. And so we're doing, what we call, a proof of concept, in which where we can understand how it will work and how we can, understand what is required, both from the infrastructure end, what kind of infrastructure needs to happen, and of course from the mobility side of it. So as a government, we're looking at all of those opportunities, and I'm sure you do remember that we also have a big, relationship with Scania. Scania is Swedish.
Yes.
And so correct as well. So a lot of our public buses too, right, are Scania buses. And I'm aware that a company called TW, what's the name? TML, see, are working with some Swedish companies to see how we further deepen, that relationship. So there's a lot that you can see, in public transportation, and of course the other company, the other data gathering, it's all around public safety, and public transportation. So we're responsive and responsible to ensure that we create a system that the likes of the company, the likes of the government will be interested in.
The Lagos State government says its doors are open to other interested partners to help build modern infrastructure for the benefit of residents.
The Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has promised that it will surpass the revenue target of over 1 billion naira it generated in 2022. This is according to the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusoya, who gave the assurance at the continuation of the Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Support Program for Food Production and Processing Clusters held at Surulere Local Government Area.
It's the turn of farmers in Surulere Local Government Area, Local Council Development Area, to receive their farming inputs and equipment for better production. The Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusoya, and her team are here to hand over the items which has been provided under the 2022-2023 Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Program.
The reason why we have decided to do the Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Activation Support this way, this time around, is because of feedback that we received, particularly during the elections campaign period. And the feedback was things are not reaching the grassroots as it should. Doing everything in a centralized manner, it won't reach the people that it should truly reach. And even if it does reach them, it's only a minute fraction. Today, I don't believe I know any single one of you here today. I don't believe even some of the people seated on the high table will be able to say, oh, I brought this beneficiary here, or I brought that beneficiary here. You know yourselves. You live in the local community. You work in the local community. Therefore, you are ambassadors to say, indeed, what Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu is doing is to touch people at the grassroots and to ensure that there's sustainability of livelihood and sustainability of wealth creation. That is why we have decided to take this approach. In tackling the value chains also, we have so many value chains of advantage in Lagos, but we cannot cover everything at every single time that we want to do enterprise support. So we pick value chains of importance at that time, and when we will do the next one, we'll move to a different value chain. So for instance, for the Lagos mainland local government and LCDA areas, we've picked Makoko 1, Makoko 2, Makoko 3, Shogunro 1, Iwaya, Ebute Meta, and Okwagbon. These areas, they are very much adept at captured fisheries. So you have fishermen from these communities. And these areas and the people in there, the cluster farmers or cluster fishermen, will be empowered. Also, for Surulere axis, we have the vegetable value chain. That is what the empowerment is tailored towards. And we have Tejo-Osho FCA farmers, the NTDA compound farmers, the Koka Aguda vegetable farmers, Iponri farmers, Irekpodun farmers, the National Stadium vegetable farmers as well. And then we have the Mushi local government and LCDAs, where our focus is on poultry processing. And they will be working away with defeathering machines.
A representative from the Sanwo-Olu local government commend the state government for identifying what the farmers really need.
Sanwo-Olu is lucky to have the program in our locality. We appreciate you coming forward. We promise to continually accept to host any venture that is coming to the people through the governor or through any ministry that's going to uplift the livelihood of you and the citizen. Thank you for coming to Sanwo-Olu. Thank you, Mr. Selebu, the governor who we sold, who we expect, and who we know will deliver.
Vegetable Value Chain Association, fish farmers, live bird marketers, plank dealers, among others, are the latest beneficiaries.
We are connected with Lagos State government, and we are using this opportunity to thank the governor again, Governor Sanwo-Olu Babajide, fún àwọn ẹ̀bùn tó fún wa nígbà tí a ń ṣe 30th anniversary wa. Wọ́n try, mo fẹ́ rọ gbogbo all the other associations in Lagos State to support the sitting government, because by supporting the sitting governor, the sitting administration, both at the state level and the local government, and we have to pay our taxes.
Fish smoking kiln, pesticide spray machine, deep freezer, wheelbarrow, grinding machine, among other equipment were distributed to farmers and other artisans. With this initiative, the Lagos State government believes it will surpass the revenue target of over 1 billion naira it generated last year.
The food festival, I had said that it's hopeful that year 2023, we should be touching at least 3 billion in terms of revenue. The Empowerment Enterprise Activation Program that is being done is supporting processors, producers, marketers. The hope is for them to be able to increase food production, to be able to add more value to the food, thereby making more margins for processors and for marketers to have easier access to selling to consumers. We have live bird marketers here, for instance, working away with a full truck, working away with defeathering machines. The hope is with these people registered even under LIRS, the entire Lagos State revenue pool would increase. You heard what the Plank and Building Marketers Association said. They pay their taxes. They pay to LIRS, which is the Lagos State government. So the stakeholders you have here today, not all of them would necessarily pay in terms of revenue generation to the Ministry of Agriculture, to Lagos State. Some will go directly to LIRS. So you have direct and indirect revenue. The most important thing and what is at the forefront of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration is wealth creation for the people, job creation for the people, creating an enabling environment that ensures that our food systems are more secure. Towards revenue generation, we have another pool of stakeholders. This is where you have agric assets, whether being concessioned or you even have private sector partners doing build, operate and transfer, or just build, operate, and you have a revenue sharing formula with the Lagos State government. And then there are so many other ways also that the ministry is creating and generating revenues. We know that with the elections that have happened this year, it actually took away a bit of resource in terms of the people moving out in different directions. And I mean, generally, election period, there's a bit of uncertainty in the air. So you see people withdrawing investment in the space. So obviously, in terms of revenue generation, you see a decline. But now I want to believe that with everything over, inauguration to happen within the next 10 days or so, or 12 days max, or 14, I want to believe that there will be more stability within the system. And the second half of 2023, we should see an increase in the revenue generation across board.
18 more local government areas will be visited for the distribution of Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Support Program.
And this is where we call it today on this week's edition of the program Dateline Lagos. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Until we come your way again next time, remember to always stay safe. Bye for now.